Hey everyone, Suzi here, and today we're playing a Watcher of Realms. For today's video, we are on the test server. We have SHI, a new hero coming for the upcoming event that has been teased. I'm loving these ink style previews. What are they called? Character reveal, hero reveals. So cool. Of course, this is an event, so there'll probably be a pretty deep story with these ones. I mean, to be fair, all the stories in Taya are pretty interesting. Oh, whoa. It's like her soul is leaving his body, what? But he's beautiful. He's very pretty himself. Very soft features. Wayward noble, that makes sense. They like to make nobles more soft, right? Especially with the Asian features. All right. I really love his look. I'm curious about this duo that seems to be the case, right? He's Piercer and Infernal. So really interesting overall aesthetic. Happy to see another big event coming. I don't know for sure, like, is he gonna be a limited hero? Or is the female pairing a limited hero? I don't know who's what yet. We'll take a deeper look there, but love his look, aesthetic-wise, very well done. Looks like we might have some spinny light physics when this sword glows. Maybe not. Let's zoom out and see him a little bit better. All right. Yeah. Very cool. Whoa. Love it. All right, sorry. Pause for the visuals, right? You gotta take a good look. Jiushi, an orphan of Shenyu, was raised by his neighbors before becoming a disciple of Suyu. Despite his unmatched talent, his deep emotional attachments left a hidden flaw in his heart. When the three calamities descended and the war ravaged his homeland, he forsook his chance at survival, wielding the Pathbreaker to defy fate and save his people. His beloved Suyu sacrificed herself to the sword to guard him through his tribulation. Only after the three calamities had passed and the spirit demon's illusion had faded did he realize everything was born of his own obsessions. Ultimately, seeing through the falsehood, he carries his devotion as he walks a solitary path, continuing his path of cultivation in a mortal body. So that was a pretty long blurb, but there's a full story here, Tribulation of Mind. I will read through this giant wall of text that apparently needed some paragraphs separating it. At the end of this video, after we look at the kit. Single target physical attack, defense penetration, offensive dispel, and anti-air. Again, Piercer and Infernal. Marksman dealing Piercer damage. Okay, we have a base attack of 3,800, cost 12. Attack interval is 2 seconds, and rage regen auto 14. Some of those key points there. The talent. Hero gains 1 stack of Blade Resonance with each basic attack. Every time Blade Resonance reaches 50 stacks, the hero breaks through Realm of Cultivation. For every 10 Blade Resonance stacks obtained, summons 1 extra Soul Blade, increases the duration of Karma Incarnate in the ultimate by 10 seconds. So the stacks, Realm of Cultivation is this special skill. This was kind of teased in the little blurb we got about them. So what is this exactly? It advances to the Golden Essence stage upon first breakthrough, increasing penetration by 20% and damage by 30%. then advances to the nascent soul stage upon it's hard to read, sorry. Upon the next breakthrough, increasing penetration by 30% and damage by 50%, while changing each basic attack to 2 consecutive strikes. The hero only gains the attribute increase of the current highest realm stage, and these effects cannot stack. During the breakthrough process, the hero gains invincibility, but is unable to take action. So he's got like this Super Saiyan power-up. Got it. That's what I'm reading. But like they said here, for every 10 blade resonance stacks, it summons an extra soul blade. Soul blades deal 200% damage to one enemy target in range and dispel one buff from them. Another buff dispeller, as it says, offensive dispel. And then increases the duration of Karma Incarnate, which is an increasing penetration by 50% and damage against airborne units by 20%. Each basic attack deals 360 physical damage to the main target, and damage doubles every 3 basic attacks. They're surely making him sound like a pretty big single target powerhouse. Alright, physical attack basic here, deals 70% damage to up to 2 enemies in range, prioritizing airborne units. So he's single target, but he'll attack 2 enemies in range. I kind of like that because that makes him friendly toward dual target or dual boss mode. And now we're kind of having these dual boss modes pop up, like the boss teaser that I showed a while back as well, plus the one that was like what? The current Immortal Codex boss, right? Alright, ultimate mental verge. When the ultimate is triggered, if the hero is at nascent soul stage or above, enters Blade Anima. Otherwise, removes all current Blade Resonance stacks and enters Karma Incarnate. Okay, so when you use your ultimate, depending on your current status, has an effect on exactly what's being done. So Blade Anima is a 20-second phase. Each basic attack deals 250% physical damage 2 times to up to 2 enemies. Every 6 basic attacks deals 300% physical damage 2 times to up to 2 enemies in range, and inflicts 20% vulnerability physical damage for 10 seconds. If the hero is at the Unfettered Immortal stage, deals damage 8 times instead. We haven't talked about the Unfettered Immortal stage yet, but whew. So this is one of those that you're going to have to time his ultimate based on his current status, depending on which effect you want. So this penetration and airborne unit focus, I feel like it's almost better to just go for that. It's more damage here when you're just going against basic targets or like a single target thing. This Blade Anima sounds more like it's better for the dual target bosses specifically, right? So it almost might be better to try to trigger the ultimate when you're not in the nascent soul stage or above, when you're early on. If you just want to take out a bunch of airborne units for something like, you know, the style of stuff like a Gear Raid 3, for example, if you're getting this character early on in your progression. Well, not early on, what am I saying? Gear Raid 3 has higher stages now that are really hard, so maybe that'll be helpful there too. Okay. Soulbound Resonance. When there are exactly 2 other allied heroes adjacent to the hero, activates the following effect. Each time these allied heroes use a basic attack, the hero has a 10% chance to summon an additional Soul Blade. When they use an ultimate, the hero is guaranteed to summon an additional Soul Blade. If the hero is in Karma Incarnate, the effect changes to the following. Increases the hero's crit damage by 40% and restores 15% max HP with each basic attack. Interesting. There's so this is where this kind of game loses me a little bit sometimes, I have to be honest. It's a little too much with the timings of phases. So not only are you worried about when you're attacking your enemy based on their current status, but your own personal status having so many layers of when it's this, we add this, or but that doesn't trigger unless this happens. But this only happens when this doesn't happen. And I don't know. It's probably a little bit simpler than it sounds. Like the basic phase before nascent soul stage, when we start this realm of cultivation, when he's in the golden essence stage, that's when, if you trigger the ultimate, he goes into karma incarnate. And then this happens. So it's like, this is so many things to piece together with the idea, I guess, of if you need to heal and you want that restore of HP with each attack, if things are a little scary, or you're in a battle that just is tough and your healer's not doing enough, I mean, you might need to purposefully be triggering these exact things. You would probably need to be focusing on using your ultimate as fast as possible before you enter the nascent stage. Okay, I'm not gonna remember any of this when it comes time to use them if I get them, but it's fine. I'll try my best. Lingering intent. For 10 seconds after Karma Incarnate ends, the hero gains 1 extra stack of Blade Resonance with each basic attack. And then the Bond skill. Obtain Hero Suyu, the Jade Frost Maiden, to unlock the following bonus effect. During Karma Incarnate, each basic attack has a 20% chance to deal an extra 150% damage one time. Alright, big ol' kit there. Lots of layers of timings of this versus this, and when this is happening, these other things happen too. But I guess that's just sometimes this stuff gets... We get comfortable with it once we start putting it into action, right? But it's a bit intimidating. This game's pretty friggin' complicated, which is why it's good and interesting too, but whew, it's a lot to learn. That's why it overwhelms me sometimes, because I have a hard time keeping up with it as it is. Okay, Awakening 1. When the realm of cultivation has not reached the nascent soul stage, or above, casting the ultimate with at least 25 stacks of Blade Resonance restores an extra 30% rage. So far, up to this point, almost everything favors not being in the next stage when you use your ultimate. It's like, this almost makes this Blade Enema doesn't sound very well suited. But then dealing damage 8 times instead, when in this fancy Unfettered Immortal stage, which it doesn't... Wait, we have not described the Unfettered Immortal stage once yet. Have we? Okay, here, Awaken 2. You have to have Awaken 2 to even unlock it, that's why. But Awaken 2! I like an interesting Awaken 2. Okay, let's... Breaks through the realm limit, allowing ascension up to Unfettered Immortal stage. When the hero is not in the Lord team of his faction, increases all attributes of the hero by 25%. So encouraging him to be used with other teams. Very interesting. All right. So Unfettered Immortal increases penetration by 50% and damage by 70% while changing each basic attack to 2 consecutive strikes. The hero is immune to debuffs during the ultimate, and upon ending, it deals 100% damage 7 times to 2 enemies. Okay, so this is kind of similar to the other aspect. So it gives that similar bonuses when you're in the nascent or above with that other bonus on top of that. Versus, yeah. Oh, okay, let's keep going. Awaken 3. When Sword Bond Resonance is activated, the hero gains a shield equal to 60% of his max HP for 20 seconds. If the hero is in Karma Incarnate, extends the duration of Karma Incarnate by 10 seconds. Oh. Well, that's going to add some survivability. And damage. Great Awakens. The Awakenings sound fantastic. Awaken 4 plus 8% for penetration. And Awaken 5 instantly breaks through the first realm into Golden Essence stage upon deployment. Alright, well, he's got a lot going on there, doesn't he? Alright, so some notes about this hero. So some notes and suggestions for this hero. He features an offensive dispel and core DPS single target, a ramp-up physical marksman focused on single target and dual target damage. The ramp-up cultivation, normal form to golden essence stage, nascent soul stage, unfettered immortal stage, which requires awakened 2. His offensive dispel capabilities. And in single target environments, remain in lower cultivation stages and cast ultimate frequently. In dual target environments, will cast his ultimate after completing the ramp-up process and entering higher cultivation stages. So yeah, that is what I thought. Cast the ultimate more frequently when it's just like a normal single target environment, especially when you're just attacking airborne units. He's recommended for Immortal Codex Conquest Challenge, Aristel of Dawn, with an Infernal Blast lineup like Soul Cadence, him, plus Violet Vein, Gretchen, and Yanis Grismar. Interesting. Definitely well suited for that. And then also Gear Raid 3, of course, with Iovar, him, and Yuri or Lady Alexandra, with Ruin Hollow and Dr. Van Helsing. That's an interesting lineup there. Okay, I can definitely see that though. Sounds like a really fun, great character. I'm curious. All right, now let's read the lore. Shenyu lies on the far eastern edge of Taya, isolated from the world by the sea and mist. The path of cultivation here is rooted in the pursuit of immortals and the ultimate truth. For millennia, ever since the cosmic Taoist ascended, no cultivator has broken through the mortal cage and transcended the mundane world. It is said that the world is flawed and the ascension is the only way to break free from this incomplete realm. Immortality is a tempting promise, and the doctrines are strict, yet they cannot trap the bonds of human emotion or sever one's ties to all others. Jiushi grew up an orphan in the countryside, surviving on the charity of his neighbors. Blessed with talent in his youth, he stepped onto the immortal mountain and became a disciple of Suyu. The two sought the ultimate truth together day and night, accompanying each other. Her cold, frosty nature met his passionate, pure heart. Even the strict teachings could not bind their blossoming affection. Afterward, they left the immortal sect together, hiding themselves from the world as they cultivated and stayed by each other's side. His talent was unmatched in the divine land, bearing the potential for ascension, yet he was born with earthly longings. Bound by bone-deep affections, his divine nature could not suppress his true heart, leaving a hidden flaw in his heart. As the years passed, his cultivation reached perfection, and the three calamities descended upon the world. The calamity of war was woven into his fate. His homeland was left in ruins, and the people were displaced. And the very neighbors who had once cared for him were all plunged into suffering. Only two bitter choices remain. One was to strictly follow the path of cultivation, watching in cold silence as the world sundered, surviving the calamity and walking the final steps into ascension. The other was to step into the storm, shouldering the weight of the chaos with his own body, defying the rules of his path, and enduring an irreversible and heavy price. The enforcers of Shenyu had not yet arrived, leaving the realm to choke on the creeping miasma of calamity. Amidst the debris, Jiushi could not forsake his origins, nor could he coldly watch the suffering of all living beings. He took up Pathbreaker, the divine sword long lost to the world, and shattered the indifference within his heart to embrace his fate. Suyu repeatedly tried to persuade him bitterly, but their paths diverged. Her heart, however, could not let him go. Caught in dilemma between the emotion and reason, she wore herself down in body and spirit, yet still chose to silently stand by him in desperate situations. The royal city bled in endless battle as the invaders, tainted by calamity, devoured all uncontrollable horrors. Malicious aura, the omen of famine, and the oppressive might of heaven's scales loomed over the crumbling realm. Dark clouds bore down on the city, in the world's spiritual energy waned as the reality itself began to tilt toward ruin. Even if every foe were eliminated and the homeland preserved, the guilt of defying the precepts of heaven was unavoidable. A storm of judgment brewed in the heavens. Now that the slaughter had subsided, the heavy toll of his defiance must be shared by those he loves most. As heaven's wrath fell, Suzi sacrificed herself to save him. Merging her soul into Pathbreaker, she exchanged her own tribulation of love, an immortal path for this safe passage through the three calamities. In the moment, his beloved perished. His grand victories and reclaimed lands withered into hollow, piercing emptiness. The storm of the three calamities seemed to have passed, but the boundless prison of the mind was forged them on. Endless obsessions and regrets entangled his heart. He was trapped in the past, unable to extricate himself. Then came the shattering truth. The carnage of war and the blood-soaked defense of his homeland were illusions woven by the spirit demon. As Moonfrost was born of passion, it was destined to endure the tribulation of love. As the Pathbreaker is broken in its name, it was fated to undergo the tribulation of spirit demon. Beyond the three calamities, the tribulation of spirit demon was the most treacherous abyss for a seeker to cross. The spirit demon was born from 5 defiling impulses, preying on regret and distortion of the past, tempting him to sink into oblivion, and seeking to replace the true self with a hollow shell of despair. In his descent into darkness, the faint echo of Suzi's remnant soul resounded, awakening him from his stupor. A profound clarity washed over Jiushi. Death was never the true end of a cultivator's journey. Rather, the true annihilation was the shattering of one's heart and being trapped by one's own obsessions. He realized that ascension was never his destination, and immortality was never his desire. What he sought in his life was simple, a heart at peace. With one thought, he saw through the difference between the spirit demon and his true self. With one strike, he shattered the veil of illusion. He directly faced the flaws in his heart and the lifelong regrets, neither avoiding the past nor hiding his sorrow. He no longer yearned for a life without regret, but only to act in accord with his heart. He no longer asked whether the road ahead held fortune or disaster, but only wished that his sword would not betray his original vow. The calamities of the land, the tragedy of love had reached their end. Only after conquering the tribulation of the spirit dawn could he know where his true self lay. From then on, with only the hum of Pathbreaker for company, he walked the land as a solitary shadow, bearing the weight of all he loved once. He stepped across the ruins of his homeland with a soul unyielding in its devotion. He committed his life to the endless pursuit of the ultimate truth.